So good afternoon. Welcome to the BEDC seminar, Leveraging the Gig Economy. Thumbs up from the panelists if you can hear me and see me fine. Thumbs up, yes? Everybody can hear me? Yes, you can see my screen, Leveraging the Gig Economy, yes? And so welcome to our seminar. We're talking about the gig economy. Hold on a second. Excuse me. And my name is Richard Augustus. I'm at the BEDC as reception and data entry clerk. However, I too am a serial entrepreneur and affiliate marketer, and I have a lot to share, share today with our panelists. And so we're talking to people that have positioned themselves in the gig economy and they're standing in the way of the movement of money. And so this is our event agenda today. We're going to go through a welcome introduction, and then we're going to get a gig economy and overview presented by colleague lecturer Craig Simmons. Then we're going to have some questions, moderated questions to the panelists, and then we'll have a Q&A from the audience, and then we'll end at 2 o'clock. So what is the gig economy? The gig economy is a free market system in which temporary, flexible jobs are commonplace, and companies bring on independent contractors and freelancers instead of full-time employees, and in many cases for short-term engagements. Many people argue that the gig economy has severely disrupted the conventional workplace and redefined the workplace expectations of employees. They also estimate 29%, this is US statistics, of all workers have an alternate work arrangement or gig work as their primary job. This includes a quarter of all full-time workers and half of all part-time workers. So traditionally, examples of gig employees in the workforce have included freelancers, independent contractors, project-based workers, and temporary or part-time hires. These days, technology has been a driving force behind the mode of freelance work. With a smartphone and a data plan, you can work from just about anywhere. On the other end of the spectrum, the gig economy encompasses a marketplace of workers who make an income from affiliation with other companies via the internet. The debate rages on about whether these workers make enough money to provide a living wage. BEDC, a learning and adaptive organization, seeks to establish a deeper understanding of the evolution of the gig economy, and will develop tips, ideas, advice, and programs, if you will, for those pursuing a side hustle or business solution in this new gig economy. So let's compare the two types of gig workers. We have independent and contingent workers. So independent persons are people who work independently and are truly their own boss. We have a few panelists that are their own boss today. These workers submit their own invoices for the services provided. And I will give credit to the foregoing information from mbroker.com. I encourage you to look them up and do some more research. We also have the contingent worker, those who work for another company, just like a regular employee might, without job security and other of the traditional benefits that we are used to. So let's talk a little deeper about these different types. We have traditional freelancing. This includes creating a career around offering defined contracted service for individuals and businesses. Freelancing is traditionally focused around creative professionals like designers, writers, photographers, and developers, although this extends to non-creative professions like bookkeepers and SEO, search engine optimization analysts. We have gig marketplaces. These jobs are what most people associate with the gig economy, as they tend to get the most attention in the media. Gig marketplaces include companies like Uber, Lyft, Airbnb. In Bermuda, we have White Roof B&B, Postmates, DropIt Delivery, who we have on today, Sargasso Bermuda, PayKit, and Cargo, and more. Many provide an on-demand service and offer both seasonal and year-round jobs that make for popular supplementary incomes. We have self-employed persons. This sector of the gig economy includes more traditional self-employed roles like tradesmen, small business owners, and other similar professions. And this rings true, especially if that individual has a full-time job already and does things, these type of things on nights and weekends and in their spare time when they're off. Other areas, this is a broad component of the gig economy that is basically a catch-all for other side hustles like blogging, selling on Amazon, or reselling on Amazon, Etsy, which is a craft portal, and eBay, which is like typically used products. In Bermuda, we have the NAB app, Amazuda, Admuda, and HandmadeBermudaLimited.com. We also have affiliate marketing and other income streams in that genre. So at this point, we're going to open up the floor to our Bermuda College lecturer and economist, Craig Simmons, for his viewpoint. In March 1st, he had there was an article in the Royal Gazette that highlighted some of his viewpoints. So we open up the floor to Mr. Craig Simmons for his presentation. Mr. Simmons, can you get audio? Okay, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. I tried to get your audio working. Play around with your audio, get your audio working.
I think you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you. Great.
Thank you for inviting me. Am I sharing the screen or?
Yeah, I'm going to advance your slides for you.
Okay.
So I have the first slide for you.
Yes. So this particular slide is sort of trying to, I suppose, organize our thinking on who a gig worker is. So I'm getting the impression that the guests that we have on today are in sort of the top left-hand corner. They are, in fact, free agents. This is their preferred choice of work. They're not doing it because they have to. It's their perhaps primary source of income. And they perhaps don't make up the majority, but they make up a significant portion of the gig economy. And then you've got those folks in the top right-hand corner. They would be, I suppose, people like me who would gig along with my full-time job. So the example that they've got here is someone who perhaps is a hobby crafter and they sell things on the side, or people like me who might get paid millions of dollars for giving public speeches and stuff like that. Wish that were true. And then you've got the people in the gig economy who do it out of necessity, what are called the reluctants. And they would love to have a traditional job like me, 9 to 5, but life has thrown them a googly, and so they're doing this because they have to. And of course, the financially strapped, you know, I'm unemployed and I gotta hustle. And unfortunately, I think oftentimes when we think about the gig economy, we just think about hustlers, people who were really on the fringes of society. Now, some of the research that I've looked at suggests that the number of gig workers makes up about 20 to 30% of the adult population. So when thinking about Bermuda, we're talking about between 8 and 12,000 people. It's unfortunate that we don't keep records of gig workers. Our economy it mimics sort of the industrial type of economy where we only keep track of people who get up at, you know, the crack of dawn, go to work at some job, 5 o'clock, they jump back in their car and go home type of thing. And so it's difficult to get a feel for how many people in reality are in the gig economy, are independent workers, their contribution to the economy, because I think for the most part, we will dismiss the gig economy. But I would suggest that would be a mistake, because you know, these folks are offering us a chance to experiment. The finance minister used the word sandbox as a way of sort of explaining the gig economy. And I think he borrowed that term from the Bermuda Monetary Authority, because the BMA, as the regulator of international business in Bermuda, and more specifically the reinsurance sector, has created a sandbox where these reinsurance companies can go and do things on a small scale that they wouldn't want to do in the open market. And so I think that is perhaps a good way to think of the gig economy as like a sandbox, a place where you can test your ideas. We're especially in areas like food service, leisure, delivery, and we've got quite a few entrepreneurs on the line right now that can testify that this is a growth area. Oftentimes, I think we mistakenly assume that all gig workers are low-wage workers, but in fact, consultants. If you think about a project that you might be doing, building an airport, you might not want to have full-time engineers, architects, interior designers on your payroll. It would make a lot more sense to have independent workers, having gig workers come in for a specific task. And I think that's sort of the beauty of this particular area, because it's flexible. You don't have to sort of jump through all sorts of hoops to get things up and running. Plus, it can leverage technology, which is something that isn't so easy to do in the so-called traditional economy. Let me get back to that slide. So obviously there are benefits, but there's also downsides. This slide that comes up right now, it's looking at retail sales before COVID, in other words, in 2019, and retail sales in 2020. It might be difficult for you to see what's going on, but on the vertical axis is the retail sales index, and on the bottom is time. So the first one down here, you got January, and then February, March, and then April. So the numbers here, the second number indicates a month. And it shouldn't be difficult for people to identify the COVID year, 2020. It's easy. It's the one with the big dip in it. The thing that I want to bring your attention to is that after the big dip, it's like going down Napton Hill. The climb out of the sort of the pit, as it were, has been encouraging. So encouraging that now we are doing better. Retail sales are doing better now than they were in 2019. So the amount of spending that is happening on Ireland in 2021 is arguably higher than the amount of spending that was happening on Ireland a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or even 4 years ago. The only exception might be the America's Cup year. And so I think this provides a great opportunity for the gig economy to sort of flex its muscles, to do the things that I think a gig economy does best. And so the next slide is about what every, I think, entrepreneur is concerned about. So is there money out there for my business? And I think the answer to that question is yes. So in this particular graphic, we're looking at, we see on the horizontal, we've got time going all the way back to 1990 up to the present. So we're looking at it over a long period of time. And on the vertical, we've got the number of dollars that are in the market. And these numbers are in, so the lowest number I see is 1,000. So that would be 1 billion, and then the next one would be 2 billion, and 3 billion, and 4 billion, and 5 billion, and $6 billion. You'll note something strange happened in 2005. that's when I think Bermudians lost their mind. It was a period of rapid economic growth, primarily because of the 3 hurricanes that hit the US, and loans went off the chain. You could see the blue line just went sort of like straight up. Yeah, the amount of lending topped $5 billion. And of course, the financial crisis came in the fall of 2008. And the banks were caught, the Warren Buffett analogy, that you know who's swimming naked when the tide goes out. And when the tide went out, the banking fraternity in Bermuda was left naked, because at that point in time, they didn't have the deposits to back the loans that they had made. So you might ask the question, how the heck do you make $5 billion worth of loans if you've only got $3 billion worth of deposits? Well, I'm not going to answer that question. The point I want to make is that since about, 2011, banks have been deleveraging. And it was only when that blue line crossed the red line again that the banking system in Bermuda was back on firm ground. Not since 2005 had the banks returned to a position where the deposits in the bank were greater than the loans. So fortunately for us, we're back to sort of civilized times when in fact the banks now have the wriggle room to make loans to entrepreneurs, especially entrepreneurs in small and medium-sized businesses and folks in the gig economy. So for me, these are the best of times for the gig economy for 2 reasons. The first slide shows that spending on island is, let's call it, off the chain. Yeah, it's in a place right now where it wasn't before COVID. And that's got a lot to do with the fact that I can't take my trip to Bali. And so all that money I was going to spend in Bali now has to be spent in Bermuda. And so that's showing up in the retail sales figures. So that's a good bet for gig workers. And there is money in the bank. So I think this is a good time. We should be positive about the future prospects of economic life in Bermuda. This particular slide, I think, shows something that existed before COVID, but it is the disparity between blue and white collar workers. In the top table, you've got blue collar workers, and you can see the median incomes. That's the middle income in each of those categories, pales in comparison to the bottom graphic, white collar work. Yeah, and please remember that these are numbers from 2018. The more recent numbers for 2019, well, at least in international business, it's now gone through $140 million, sorry, $140,000 a year. And so one of the downsides, I suppose, of the gig economy is that, you know, it's not going to help with inequality. And it's not clear to me that we should be really concerned about inequality right now. You know, we're in the middle of a storm, and we've just got to survive right now. There is a lot of diversity in gig work. There are a lot of downside risks in gig work. Getting paid is one of them. Limited benefits, access to healthcare, not something that is guaranteed. And so there are risks, but I would argue it is our best option, given that we are in the middle of a storm that really no one living today has ever experienced. So I want to leave those thoughts with you and with our speakers, and I'll be open to questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Craig Simmons, for that analysis and overview. And so again, if there's questions, please write it in the chat box. We will have a Q&A right now we could take a few questions right now, if we can, if there's any. We could take a look. But at this time, we're going to roll into introductions of our panelists, and we're going to have some questions for them. And so first up, we have Fanon. So Fanon, if you could open up your mic and talk about your business and how your business history and how it relates to the gig economy.
Morning, good afternoon, all. Thanks, BEDC, for inviting me. I've really enjoyed a lot of your workshops in the past, so I'm glad to be participating in this. I started Hook on, well, we received, Hook is an on-demand market, and we received we're focused in the East End right now, and we received our first order on May the 6th. So, well, just a little bit over 9 months in operation. And we started with 2 businesses. Now we have a little bit over 10, 12 businesses on our market. And we have 3 apps. Well, we have 3 constituencies. We have a customer. We want to provide the customer with choice. We have businesses. We want to help them distribute their services. And we have the delivery agent that we really try to create a lot of opportunity for, because they are core to how our customers experience Hook. So we could get a little bit more in detail later, but that's just a basic overview of what Hook is.
Thank you, Fanon. Next up, we have DropIt Delivery co-owner Carl Vincent. Carl. Can't hear you, Carl. Unmute.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me as well. I'm excited to speak and to at least share my experiences and my opinion with everyone. And yeah, there's quite a few people in here, so I hope people ask questions. I'm the co-owner, co-founder of DropIt Delivery, which is a third-party delivery service that in Bermuda, which we primarily focus on groceries at the moment, delivering for Lindos and out of Lindos and work. And we, similar to Hook, just operate in a space where we are affording delivery drivers and shoppers the opportunity to work in the gig economy when and if they want to, as well as providing the end user, the customer, the ability to get something delivered quickly and fast. So yeah, anyhow, thanks for having me, and looking forward to it.
There you go.
Hello?
Sorry, Richard, you was just on mute, so no one could hear what you said.
Was I on mute the whole time?
I'm trying to get Kat to come on.
Oh, sorry.
Kat? Nope, can't hear you. We're going to move on. Kat, we wanted her to explain about her business, but I can say that she has a group of companies from Flower Wall, Bermuda, to the Pick Booth, to Fishing on the Rock, Glamping on the Rock. And she's also an affiliate marketer. Hopefully we'll get her on to talk about that aspect of it, how she leverages herself with technology and other people. So we're going to move on for now, being we have a technical difficulty with her. Next up, we have Ellan Smith. Ellan, if you could come online and explain your history and your business. Ellan?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity, BEDC, to be a part of your seminar this afternoon and sharing this platform with these esteemed gentlemen and business partners and the economists from Bermuda College. Richard, thank you for the invitation. For myself, I own a brick and mortar in Hamilton. I've been an owner of that for the past 7 years. However, I was introduced to that brick and mortar type of business through my family, who was in the similar business for over 30 years. And I actually started that brick and mortar when I was doing my regular 9 to 5. I found myself sick, continuously being sick year after year, working the 9 to 5 after 40 years in that line of work. And I found that I had the opportunity to retire so I can put more time with my health. And when I was out kind of repairing my health for the past 3 years, for 3 years, I was introduced again to a network marketing company. It was exciting for me because I had seen network marketing opportunities previously, and I knew how it actually worked. But the company that I'm with now really stood out to me simply because of the business model. It was very, very solid. And we have multiple streams of income from the one company. And it actually is different from other network marketing companies where it gives the opportunity for persons who are looking for a stream of income, but we also look strongly in our customer value as well. So we're able to marry that together. And for myself, I was able to retire from my 9 to 5, turn my health around, because we do recognize that our 9 to 5 can put extreme stress on us from day to day. But it was, it was my time to say thank you very much. So uniquely, I am actually, operating a 9 to 5 for a brick and mortar, as well as affiliate marketing. So the income is very different, but certainly it gives us an opportunity to be able to contribute to the economy just as likewise. So I'd love to be able to share a little later what we actually do.
Yes, thank you, Ellan. Let me go back to Kat if she's give it Catarina. Test your mic again. No? Says you're unmuted, so we still can't hear her. No. So let's go on to James Matthews. James, if you could unmute.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'd like to thank the BEDC for having me to be a part of this discussion. And my name is James Matthews. I am the co-owner of EverForward Digital. We are an online community of digital entrepreneurs. And our main focus at the moment is to introduce as much people as possible to the crypto, Bitcoin, and online passive income opportunities, different online passive income opportunities. I was introduced to network marketing about 5-6 years ago, and I've been in love with it ever since. I've learned so much through it. I've learned about different forefront technologies. About Bitcoin, I was introduced to Bitcoin earlier because being a part of network marketing. I was introduced to Forex because I was a part of network marketing. I learned about compound interest. I learned about so much different business models all due to network marketing. So now I just like to share my knowledge of other people and try to help as much people be involved in it, in the new gig economy. That's about it.
Thank you, James. And I don't think she's here, but we did have Equilateral Stereo owner Kori Hypolite. She is the one, what I call freelance, fits that category. Unfortunately, Kori Hypolite, I'm still going to talk about her and her business on her behalf, but I will say Kori is a freelance worker and she focuses on branding and brand awareness for businesses that are in the health and wellness arena. That's her focus, but she does do some freelance work for marketing service for other businesses as well. So at the end of the seminar, at the conclusion, what will be available to the audience is a video of her explaining her business and her thoughts around the gig economy. She could not join us live today, but she does send her apologies, and hopefully we'll have one of these similar events again where we can have her on again, and maybe we have a part 2 to this whole seminar. But again, if there's questions for the panelists, you can definitely put them in the chat box. So let's go right into questions. If everybody can unmute, if everybody unmute themselves. And let's talk about why it's important, roundtable, why is it important to consider this type of gig economy? Why it's important for us? And Craig, being you're still here, you expanded on some of these matters before, but why is it important? Why is the gig economy important? Whoever's first can unmute and just start talking.
Well, traditionally in Bermuda, we've relied on the big business. We've relied on, multinational corporations, whether they're hotels. And then we sort of moved away from that toward international business. And so it's always something from the outside, something big that comes in and is sort of our savior. And right now, I get the impression that people are still waiting for some God to come down from the sky to sort of save us from, this situation we're in, and they're going to swoop us off our feet and make everything good. And I think that's really, I'm going to be kind and say, a naive way of thinking about our economy and the future of our economy. Diversification is an important part of our economy, and it's a word that's been out there for a while. And to me, diversification means you just try many different things. And the people on this call are all trying different things. We don't know how it's going to end up. Yeah. And if anything, we need to applaud entrepreneurs because they don't tell people what to do. They do it. They put their livelihood, they put their futures on the line, yeah, so that they'll do well. If they don't do well, they don't do well. If they do well, they will employ your cousin, your uncle, your sister. So in that sense, they're like Joan of Arc. They are the savior for our economy. And I think we need to give them the credit, the honor that they're due. Small and medium-sized businesses are the great employers going forward. The international businesses that are coming to Bermuda because of the COVID pandemic are not going to hire a lot of people. They're using their technology to save on labor. Yeah. These entrepreneurs are going to hire people, your neighbor, your cousin. And so if you're looking for someone coming down from the sky to save you, you're looking at them right now. And I offer my thanks to people in the healthcare system. Why? Because they put their lives on the line every day so that I can be safe. These entrepreneurs are putting their financial futures on the line so that my cousin, my grandson, will be able to find a job. I put them in the same category as folks who are willing to accept the downside, bankruptcy, shame, all those negative things. They're putting it on the line. And I'm not. I'm a chicken. I'm hiding here. I got a Bermuda College job. I'm guaranteed to get paid unless a truck runs over me or something like that. These people, entrepreneurs, don't have that luxury. Yeah. And so we need to encourage them. We need to leverage the clout that we have and encourage bankers, encourage politicians to make life easier for them. Politicians have made life very easy for insurance companies, reinsurance companies to set up in Bermuda. They haven't made it very easy for local entrepreneurs to set up businesses in Bermuda, to make them work. And we as a people need to put pressure on our politicians to make life easier for entrepreneurs of small and medium-sized enterprises. I want to thank the panel for their valuable service. It is a social service. Yeah? Entrepreneurs aren't known for being philanthropic, but they are. They hire people, they keep people on, even when they're not making money. They are in many ways the unsung heroes of Bermuda.
Thank you, Craig, for that wonderful analysis. But I will say that there's a saying within our industry and being an affiliate marketer is that when somebody presents you with an opportunity, you say yes and figure out how to do it later, right? Just say yes and try things. Don't be afraid to diversify that egg basket. You heard the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Well, a lot of people talk about, I'm cool with my job. But if you see, I was on the radio promoting this particular seminar. Technology is a double-edged sword. Yes,
Hello?
Hello? It
Oh,
produces.
okay, it's working. I think so. Sorry.
Oh, Catarina. We'll go to Catarina.
I'm
We'll
on the
introduce
phone
you.
call. I'm on the phone call. I'm sorry. I had to like switch the phone.
Okay, we'll talk about you. We'll come back to you in a second. But I'm saying, technology is a double-edged sword in that it increases productivity, but it also makes the jobs more efficient, so they need less staff. And so if you put all your eggs in that job basket 9 to 5, you may get a pink slip, and then what you have to fall back on. So at this time, we worked out the technical difficulties with Kat. Kat, let's introduce yourself, talk about the Ellan group and how you, as an affiliate marketer, leverage the gig economy. So over to you.
Yeah. Hey guys. Thanks again for having me here today. And you guys are awesome on the panel. And Mr. Craig Simmons is actually my professor at Bermuda College. So nice to see you, Mr. Craig. And yeah, so my name is Catarina. I'm the founder of Ellan Group of Companies. I'm sure you guys have heard of Glamping on the Rock, which is a luxury camping experience, our flower walls, backdrop experiences, and we've added our photo booth like Richard had mentioned. But I don't really want to, talk too much because we already talked enough about my businesses. But yeah, the affiliate marketing is really exciting. It's definitely where I would say where the future is going towards, so it's really awesome to be a part of it, and I'm excited to share about it, throughout our conversations and stuff. So I'm gonna, give it back to you so we can continue.
Good. So thank you for working out the technical difficulties in this technological world. These things do happen. It's something called third-party counter risk. It's something we cannot control. These machines were not built by Richard Augustus, they're built by Dow or Bill Gates. And so things do go wrong, but we leverage, technology. And while we're on that subject, let's talk about leveraging the internet and leveraging social media and leveraging technology. Let's go around the panel. Let's start with Carl. How does technology play a role?
Okay, but before that, I just wanted to piggyback on Craig's comments earlier. Just in saying that, okay, if anyone here has spoken with an investor that they look up to, or just someone in that investor world, what it comes down to is them saying diversify. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. You want to be able to, fall and still have 3 legs on the floor. And I think the gig economy is important because it's allowing us being the working class people, the workers, to afford to have other options if our main option falls through, right? So like we now, with the gig economy, we have the ability to treat our lives as an investment portfolio rather than saying, hey, this is my job, this is how I'm gonna do it. But if this tree gets axed, I'm on my back. And with the gig economy, you can always have many options. With affiliate marketing, you do have these multiple streams, which obviously is a term that gets used a lot, but you just have different legs to stand on. And I think that's where, as gig economy employer and worker, hooked, Sargasso, DropIt, that's where you're providing more of a safe space or a leg to fall back on. And sorry, what was your question just before I said that? Sorry. You're muted, sorry.
I was talking about technology, how you leverage technology, how much of a tool is social media, the internet, your web presence, marketing on using that sort of stuff to leverage.
Yeah, huge. Like essentially that is your brick and mortar, that is your front door. The internet is the portal to your services and your products and to your customers. So yeah, it's 95. The internet is 95% of it. The other 5% of it is to make sure that everyone knows about it, that you're staying in contact with your customers. Just like it was a portal before for information, and Google was awesome. Now it's, you know, it's even more of a, I don't know, a gateway to whatever you need when you want it, and or whenever you need to find work, the ability to find work in the Philippines if you're working from Bermuda on Fiverr, or, you know, whatever the case may be.
Interesting, interesting. So, I mean, for the affiliates there that we have, like Ellan, James, and Kat, let's talk about leveraging, because I always read that you could either leverage people or you can leverage your money. And I know, James, we leverage money. I'm part of the EverForward group, full disclosure. And so you're either being leveraged, right?
Yeah.
Or you're creating leverage, right? For other people,
Absolutely.
opportunities for people. Let's talk about from that aspect.
Before somebody answers, can we just define what is affiliate marketing for those who don't understand?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll take the lead on that one. So affiliate marketing is basically where you are dealing with somebody else's product. There are opportunities within the affiliate marketing space where you represent, or you are a advertising agent for another company's already produced product. These typically are on the internet. It's borderless, and so you can associate yourself by being an affiliate. I was talking to a gentleman who's not on the call, maybe next time, where he was an affiliate of Booking.com, and he used to concentrate on booking vacation rentals in Bermuda. He had a link that linked himself to Booking.com, and he used to focus on Bermuda properties. So every time that guest checked in to one of the hotels that he recommended through his link, guess what? He got a commission. So we do the same thing. Ellan, you could talk about that a little bit more. Or James, anybody.
So I like to talk about the first question, and we talk about how the gig economy can help Bermuda. I feel that the gig economy gives option for a lot of multiple streams of income, to whereas we can leverage while we use the technology. We use technology to leverage and make money online. So, also, with our country being so small as being in Bermuda, and our main industry being out here being international business, network marketing gives us the opportunity to become a part of international business in itself. Because I'm able to work with people from around the world, from sitting right in my bedroom. I go work with people from Jamaica, Africa, up in Canada, Europe, and we're all just leveraging off each other and creating a big economy. I mean, creating a big community to help one another and make more money. And like being in Bermuda, the cost of living is going up so high. So I feel like we have to figure out how to make more money. We're able to create a nice passive income for ourselves and enjoy it. And also with technology, into like artificial intelligence and blockchain and Bitcoin or that and damn type of stuff. So things that I'm able to do for myself, like I use artificial intelligence to trade for me. So I'm able to use artificial intelligence and share exactly what I do with other people to where they're able to do exactly what I do and make money for themselves also. And I basically get a little payoff for that, as if they're making money, I make money. And we just able to expand our knowledge and share with one another and help everybody try to get ahead. And that's what I feel like the gig economy is. And it's definitely going to stay from it. I feel like we're definitely forefront. We're going to be able to help a lot of people basically get ahead and life.
Sure, Ellan, you have something to add to that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know, when we James and I are really in the same line of work as far as network marketing, but you know, I just really want to go back to something that you had mentioned earlier, Richard, and also Mr. Craig, our economist here. Now, I look at myself, I have a traditional business in town, as I mentioned to you. And before, you know, 2019, the COVID crisis, I had employed 12 people. Okay, I had employed 12 people. The business is still open, but you know, we all took a major hit. Obviously, everybody knows in 2020. So now what we've actually had to do, as Mr. Simmons has mentioned, those of us, you need to mute, I think, Ms. Rocha. There's a lot of feedback coming from her. Thank you. So what we're looking at in our local economy as business owners, we've had to actually take the time between 2020 and now and look to say, well, how can we actually survive in our local economy? How can we continue to contribute? Either contribute, you know, through our finances or contribute through employment. As I mentioned, I'm going from 12 employees down to 4. And so you also mentioned, Richie, about how can we leverage online? And I believe that what I've had to do, I've had to now look at changing my business model for my brick and mortar to look to see how can I have an online presence that I possibly didn't have before. So we now, as business owner, have to be prepared in order to do that pivot. When you look at myself as a network marketer, as James mentioned, contributing to the economy is even more important. For myself in 2020, I was able to build my network marketing business, my gig economy, over 200%. Why is that important for me to mention? Simply because the local traditional business, 9 to 5, as you like, where people thought that, okay, I'm going to do this because that's more secure. Well, I believe some people's eyes may have been open during that period of time, really looking to say, well, who was it secure for even prior to 2020? Because it wasn't certainly secure for the workers, because most people that you talk to, they still came up short. Okay, you know, where those ends just don't meet. So therefore, when those ends wasn't meeting, back then they was taking on a second job, which was so-called a gig, but it was only looked at as a second job. But we helped the ends meet for the same individuals who earn the 9 to 5 establishment. So the money was really just circulating in one area. So when you look at network marketing, for those of you, or affiliate marketing, who is not familiar with this, as Richie said, is that you will actually have an environment where you can get yourself attached to that actually suits you personally and say, wow, that's something that I think that I can actually take on and share with my friends and family. So as James mentioned, our business is open 24 hours a day. Why? Because we can have an international presence. We couldn't have that when we was working for someone else 9 to 5. I can't have that with my brick and mortar. So I now have an international presence. You know, I have the ability to be internationally in 120 countries, but also you need to make sure whatever you attach yourself to, it's something that people want. So there are naturally other network marketing companies out there, but you want to make sure that it's something that people want and you can be good at. The great thing about the gig economy, though, when it's not necessarily working for you, you can always pivot. You know, it might take you a few months to pivot. It might take you a couple of days to pivot. Versus a brick and mortar and a 9 to 5, it takes you longer. You would have to go back to school. You would have to go back and learn a new skill set. And then after you get the skill set, you need to be able to have that experience. We don't have time for that. So when we go back to what our economist said, Mr. Simmons, is that the way we do business is actually changing, okay? As a country, as a world, and this was happening way before COVID, but it's just being brought to the forefront that you now have the opportunity to have your life in your control rather than someone else controlling you. You know, in my environment, as a network, and I'll pass this on to someone else, is that we have an opportunity for us to grow our customer base. So we have products and services for individuals. And we also have persons who say, well, listen, I am still doing my 9 to 5. What can I do? Because I can't be out in the evening simply because I have a family, I have the kids to pick up, or we have people who's already working from home, right? And they want to leverage their time and not have to pick up and go to another environment. So for us, and what I'm actually doing is that we have an online technology company. That's what we're built on. We have a wearable technology. We have a rideshare company that's answering the calls to people who were unemployed prior to COVID. So now they're able to pick up in that economy because that helps them. We also have the Forex trading because why? Because money is what makes the world go round, as well as utility management company where we help people lower their regular monthly bills. Imagine people's money is not the same as it was pre-COVID. So our company is saying, hey, let us help you lower those bills for you. And as you mentioned, we do have a travel portion as well. Definitely interested in working with more local Airbnb owners and travel companies, hotels, where we can actually help you to expand your business and have different arms of income. And then, of course, we have other products that is coming out in the next month or so that will be utilized worldwide by each and every person. And so with my new product and service, what happens is that it can help people who's on this panel just add another leg to what they're already doing. So it's about leveraging in all different areas, Richie, but we can pivot at any time that we want to.
Sure. So let's get Kat. I know she's on the line right now. I know I think you deal with Forex as well. That seems to be a common theme. I know I deal with Forex as well through James and some other things, but foreign currency exchange is basically the trading of fiat currencies, US dollar against Japanese yen. There's a whole market there. So Kat, let's talk about that for a little bit.
Excuse me, Richard,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is Eureka offline. There are some questions that have come in, and I know that Kori has to step off in like a minute. So I just wanted to be able to ask, and then we can get back to the rest of the panel. I just don't want to miss out on him maybe answering some of this, if that is okay.
Yeah. So Eureka, do you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, well, one question was around redundancies were occurring well prior to COVID. So job security, should have been a concern for some people and most people. And so how do you factor this in now that we are in COVID and past? How should we be thinking about these redundancies? So that was one question. And then generally, this could be for anybody, but there was a question about the prospects of really attaining loan financing for a new venture. How available is funding in the real world, and how does this factor into supporting kind of like gig economy businesses and jobs? So those were two that I thought could be helpful for Craig to answer, and anybody. I'll go mute.
Thank you, Eureka.
I'm happy to chime in about the second question.
Okay.
Cool. So in regards to is the loan funding or is funding in general available for people that want to start businesses? My short answer is yes. The long answer is yes as well. But I think it's going into entrepreneurship and finding funding for your idea. You have to be willing to change and adapt that idea to make sense for whoever's funding you with the money. So no matter how legit I felt going into the BEDC and presenting my business case from all of my research I did and all this sort of stuff, no matter what, I went in there and tore the business plan apart. It changed, it evolved, but it had to evolve in order for it to make financial sense, in order for someone to lend me the money. So just that being said, the funding is there. Absolutely. You just have to be willing to kind of get off your high horse before you've even started and say, okay, you're right. I understand. And, when dealing with banks or BDC or anyone that's been in business on a long term, kind of the far left or far right ideas have to get brought back a bit more central so that we can understand how the money works, and then we can go crazy. But yeah, that'd be my feedback.
I will say that BEDC, just a shameless plug, BEDC does have, as mentioned, a microloan program as well as a loan guarantee program. So just you can book an appointment with our offices at bedc.bm if you have a business idea, business plan. You do have to sharpen your pencil to apply for that loan. It's not going to be, you know, just a handout. You have to prove your business plan worthiness. And so yeah, we do have fun. There is money available in Bermuda.
I was a microloan applicant, and I think I've done everything the BDC offers, and it certainly works. Yes, you have to refine your whatever your thing is. You spend the time and accept the fact that you're going to have to refine it.
Sure.
Well, as I'm on my way out the door, I suppose I have sort of two comments. I'm agreeing with Carl with respect to the availability of funding. For most businesses, the first sort of leg of funding is debt financing, but don't forget about the other option, equity financing. Finding people who will have skin in your game, finding people who are willing to share in the profits when the profits come and not before. With debt financing, you've got to pay these people back whether or not you make a profit or not. So, you know, as an entrepreneur, think about the concept of equity financing. The second question was with respect to stability of employment. I think Ellan said it perfectly. Diversification will give you stability. People like Craig Simmons are living on one leg. I will be on financial assistance if I lose my job at Bermuda College. People in the gig economy can pivot. So they, in fact, I think we need to sort of stand this idea on its head. The gig economy is more democratic. It is more stable. We're talking about life in the 21st century, not life in the 70s or the 80s. And so we need to view economic relations through a different lens. And I think you guys have got it. And I'm hoping that your audience will digest the valuable information, the valuable perspectives that you're providing your audience. So thank you very much. Unfortunately, I got to go back to my day job.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. We will be doing this again, probably on another topic, and we'll concentrate, dig deeper. But great to have you on.
All right, you know how to get a hold of me.
So Richard, one of the things that when we talk about the gig economy, or as I like to call it, the on-demand economy, is that the community or our customer is the center of all of our activities, and we can't get like Ellan suggested, we have to be willing to pivot and to be flexible. And so I look at it in a three-pronged approach. One is providing the customer, the value proposition for the customer is to provide a discovery of choice, to give them convenience. They want it when they want it, and to be able to fulfill that within a reasonable time. And also to be able to motivate and engage them in a meaningful way that's meaningful to them, using the data that we have about them. For the businesses, the second part is we want to be able to amplify their brand. They could use technology to amplify their brand, as well as expand their distribution outside of their normal brick and mortar. And so whether that in the East, I have the benefit of being involved with a lot of family businesses, whether it be a father and daughter or siblings or husband and wife. And we're able to, this technology allows them to refine their craft in terms of focus on the product or service or flavors that they're creating, and let somebody else, how can we help, increase their sales without them taking away from the quality of their service or their brand. And the third part is for people that are engaged in the on-demand economy or the gig economy is the delivery agent to allow them the flexibility to earn, like everyone said, earn some additional revenue when they're not working, or when they're not in school, when they're not in class, or like I've had an experience where I wasn't working for several years, where but this would be an opportunity for someone like me. This is what kind of motivated me to get involved in this space, was to be able to create some opportunity for myself to use my talent and skills that I used in other organizations, to say, okay, let me bet on myself to kind of create value for the businesses, to create value for our community, and create value for others that want to provide delivery. And I got to give kudos. While Hook is probably the newest entry into this marketplace, I just got to give kudos to companies like Hitch with the taxis, to DropIt, to Sargasso, to 5-Star, because they've kind of acclimated the marketplace to the idea of purchasing online over a secure, and to let people know that, you know, it's secure, and it's kind of made it easier for new entrants to get involved. Yeah. So, but I guess I say that all to say that when we keep the customer in mind, we keep businesses in mind, and we keep delivery agents in mind, we have to understand or really be clear in our minds about what value we're bringing to each one of those segments.
So for Kori and Fanon, like, what were some of the challenges and opportunities when it comes to hiring the gig workers? Because you're talking about a non-traditional. What were some of the challenges that you had, either, you know, starting this business or dealing with?
It's an ongoing challenge. It's an ongoing challenge. It's not a straight line, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you could only price it. The price of our service can only be so much, where it becomes we don't want to outprice ourselves where it becomes unattractive. But of course, we've got to have the volume. It's a constant challenge making sure that we have the volume and generating the demand from the community to keep people motivated to deliver, to deliver. You know, so that's just a constant challenge, and it's definitely a mindset, because, you know, I used to work for several companies, and I get it. You know, you work a certain amount of hours, you're used to a certain amount of pay. You know, and I'm sure Carl could probably expand on this more, but it's not like that with us. You know, you're working a certain amount of hours, and your demand, the amount you get paid is the amount that you produce. And so we've got to be able to produce a quality experience to get repeat customers, right? So that's the kind of challenge. So the challenge for me is always ensuring that the pipeline is full, or that we're getting sufficient amount of orders to keep our delivery agents happy, and so that they can so that the time that they've kind of sketched out of their lives, that is worth it to them financially. You know?
Right. Read it.
So, and another thing, I just want to double back on financing. That's an interesting point. I know that I take Carl's point that we have to be flexible enough to adjust our plans when we go into finances. But I think also the traditional lens, that people that learn money, they're looking at it through a specific lens, and they're not looking through the lens of an on-demand economy, where when people are learning you money, they're looking, you know, you've got to pay it back a certain amount every month, and, you know, your plan, it's a risk. You know, I've been told by different people, yeah, your plan is speculative, and it was speculative, but thankful for family, you know, I was able to get the finances to do what I had to do. But it works both ways. Yes, as a business owner, we have to be flexible to pivot and adjust our plan to meet the finances needs, but I think also the finances have to be willing to look at financing these type of businesses through a different lens.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'd agree, especially in the financing bit, in regards to the bank's going to look at you as a business. When 10 years ago, they would look at you as a business and say, where's your office? Where's your building? You know, you're going to have to pay rent for this. You're going to have to do that. And your potential still remains the same. You know, you're only going to be able to fit X amount of people in that building, or X amount of people are going to come through that door. But in our case, and as in any case of gig economy or delivery services or online services, there is the door is the internet. There's no capacity, and there's no ceiling for how many orders or deliveries we can do outside of our, I guess, outside of our capacity for employment. Right? Like, I can only push out so many grocery orders in a day simply because I just don't have the space, not because I don't have the customer base. So I think it's, this sort of stuff is about giving them that lens to look through and say, look, you know, typically that's what you're used to. But look at this. I don't have any of those costs, but these are my costs. But this is my potential.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Well
You
said.
brought up a great point when it comes to unlimited potential as far as the internet. There's no capacity. I think there's a synergy here when it comes to our affiliate people, in that there's always customers. There's a sorting thing that we do. There's always customers to find, and what they do or what we do as affiliates is make these connections. So we get rewarded for making these connections. Not everybody that you speak to is going to connect. They're not going to be passionate about it. They think they don't need it or whatever, but it's all about making connection, and that takes work. And so if you don't put the work in, you won't get remuneration for it. It's a great guy I used to speak to, a mentor of mine, used to say, you never get paid for what you know. You only get paid with what you do with what you know. It's all about doing the production, right, of making it happen. And so, like there's a lot of, people that have these highfalutin degrees and papers on the wall. I mean, I love my piece of paper, but the fine print down the bottom says, now go get a job, right? But you can never, that piece of paper will never pay you. You have to find something to produce and make productive work. And so, not going to lecture, but
I just want to.
Kat was on the line. I want her to have a little piece. I know Kat, you're on the line?
Yes, I'm patiently waiting my turn.
I don't want you yet. I can't see you.
No, it's exciting to hear what everybody's saying, because I feel 100% the same way. Like, I guess I could say I am kind of like the epitome of gig economy, because like back in, like when I worked at the hotel industry for 12 years, like I knew then that I wanted to have my own business and I wanted to start my own thing, right? Because most of my life I always hustled. I, worked at a flower shop, I babysat, I've done all these different jobs. So, it's kind of like the gig economy I experienced in my early teens. And then, like I said, when I worked at the hotel industry for so long, and I was just working and not seeing, I wasn't seeing any, I wasn't really happy. I wasn't really gaining any, real money. I was just working for these people and not, like I said, making any money. And at the end of the day, we're all here to make some money, to pay our bills, to take care of our lives, right? So that's when I knew right away that I had to start looking at multiple streams and different things. And when I lost my job at the hotel because I hurt my back while I was serving, I just knew that, I had to secure something for myself, for my future. And in 2017, I opened up my business and I just took a leap of faith, and that was there. And a year later, it was a seasonal business. So, but it was just me, putting the foot in the doors of this whole gig economy and experiencing it for the first time. And I really enjoyed it. I knew right then and there that I would never go back to a regular job again. Like I would never work for nobody like that. I would have my own, I'll create my own opportunities. And so I did really well, but it wasn't a full-time all-year experience. So I had to learn how to pivot, and that's when I started researching about flower walls and different things in events. And I'm really about niching into products. So I took a leap of faith and I went BEDC. I actually got a loan from BEDC. For those of you asking about loans, there are funding out there. You just have to get that business plan done and make sure that all your ducks are in the row when it comes to researching how much you're spending and all that, because it's super important to know your finances. And once you have all that done, they're very eager to help any entrepreneur, to be honest. They want to help us. They want more entrepreneurs, more small business owners. So it's just about you putting in the work and doing it, because nobody else is going to do it for you. So the flower wall business, I started that venture and I added the photo booth as well too, because I thought it was like the perfect combo to that. And it's been amazing. Like the guests, everybody, all my clients really enjoy it. It's a luxury product. It's very, beautiful. So I before I go into any business, I need to make sure that I love what I do. When you love what you do, it just shows. It sells. You ain't gotta upsell nothing. Like literally, like from my website to everything, I did pretty much everything. My social medias, my marketing, I did everything on Canva. I didn't spend no big money on that when I first started. I was doing everything on Canva.com and on Wix, guys. And I made it happen. And like I said, when you do something that you love, it shows, and people will always attract to what you're doing. And honestly, it's just God. God is amazing. He always provides. Like even during this pandemic, like for months and months last year, I literally, because I had invested all my savings into this business, and I didn't have no money for like a few months. So I was struggling, and then all of a sudden the pandemic, we were all released, and then all of a sudden, all the locals wanted to experience new things, and we got completely booked throughout the whole season, right? It was able to, reinvest, gain more inventory, and because of that, right? And it was all because of faith and just going with it and following through, right? And social media and promoting and being the brand, because at the end of the day, you are the brand, right? And that's pretty much, how my opinion is on the gig economy. Like that's pretty much what I do. I created all these hustles, different hustles that I enjoy, and I just tied them all together and made our group of companies. Like I am not I did not go to I did not finish college. I'm a college dropout. I have sometimes trouble speaking in English and writing emails and stuff, but all that stuff did not stop me from becoming the earner that, and the person that I knew I can be. I might not be the normal looking earner, I might be a little rough around the edges, but at the end of the day, I'm still genuine, and I still provide a great service to everybody who comes through my business, at the end of the day. And I just want to touch a little bit based on as well on affiliate marketing, right? Because affiliate marketing is a beautiful thing, and I want to actually start promoting it even more. I'm just been focusing on my business, but it's literally where the future is going. Like we have to be involved in this space, one way or the other, because at the end of the day, we need multiple streams of incomes to survive. Everything gets more expensive. So you have to, dibble and dabble into these things. And like I said, I've been trading in the foreign exchange market for about 3 years now. I trade crypto and currency exchange. And like I said, I really enjoy it. And I also am a part of a company who pretty much promotes how to trade. And I really enjoy sharing, the product and the message to people, and allowing other people to experience this opportunity, because at the end of the day, I feel like learning how to trade in the foreign exchange market is something we should be taught in like middle school, because that's something, it teaches you how to make money, and all these other educations just teach you how to understand things, and it's just super important, just this whole digital space, and and like I said, digital. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much, but yeah, I hope yeah,
we got you, girl. Because I mean, don't be, we see you on Instagram, we see your web presence, and I know exactly what you're doing. I know the foreign currency exchange market is a skill set that is a little difficult to master, but once you, the big banks have been doing this stuff for years, right? And so trading is a great skill set, and I agree with you, it should be taught. But I will ask if there's any other questions in the chat. Erika, anything else?
I'd like to know what the redundancies were currently related to COVID, so job security should have already been a concern for some. Yeah, I'm someone who, the reason why I got into network marketing was because I did not want job security. I didn't want to get up every single day and go work a 9 to 5 every single day. So I was looking online to try to create an income for myself, because I kind of wanted to create I kind of want to have my life by design. So if I wanted to choose to go to America or live in Canada or live in Jamaica or Europe, wherever I want to live, I would still be able to make money. So that was my whole reason why I got into network marketing. And another thing about job security, I feel like job security stops your growth and stops your ambition, because most people, when you got a job, you know exactly how much you're making the end of the week. So you kind of create your whole life around that $1,000 a week. And it's so much more to life than getting up every single day and do that. But with network marketing, you're able to still work your job, but build a income on the side. And then once your income on the side becomes bigger than your job, you go walk away. You basically have a choice. Whether do I want to go work every day, or do I want to do, or I can live my passion? Because most people's passion ain't their job right now. Most people they'll go and work because that's the job that pays them, so they're trying to survive, but they're not really living their passion. And when you're able to live your passion,
what you're talking about here is dynamic income versus a linear income stream. A linear income stream, I know I get paid X amount every month. And so once you give a person a paycheck, their creative juices start to turn off. They get complacent. And in some cases, that complacency could turn into somewhat of being disenfranchised, especially when a crisis like COVID-19 comes around, right? You know, you have to shelter in place. You can't go to work. There's some people that just cannot shelter in place and work. And so you have to make hay while the sun is shining, and you have to dig some wells, multiple wells, in case that one well runs dry. And so I think you guys are bringing some great food for thought to this panel, and I think we may have to do it again. But we've got like another half hour to go, or not a half hour, like 10 minutes. I'm thinking it's 2:30. Yeah,
Hey,
another 10 minutes.
We would love to have another half hour, Richie.
Yeah, we could keep on talking.
We would love to.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yeah, sure.
So I think it's important that we change the narrative of even our conversations now, right? I think we've spoken a lot about this in a sense of the gig economy is there to rescue you, and not the gig economy is there to help you get ahead. But so obviously right now we're a lot of us and a lot of society is kind of in a oh crap kind of moment. We need to get by. But then once this time passes, it's important that obviously now that a lot of us are aware of the affiliate marketing, of the gig economy and that sort of thing, but to use it as a tool to get ahead and not to get even. Like I don't want to dig myself out of this hole. Oh crap, I need to get online and find some Fiverr work or jump on this affiliate marketing so I can make my check this month. It's like, okay, I'm working. What can I, now I have all these extra opportunities. I can start saving money or whatever, not just making ends meet, but getting ahead. And then I think that's where you really, the luxury of being a part of the gig economy and affiliate marketing really takes place. But yeah, does that make sense?
Something else came to mind for you guys, a question. How important is personal growth? I know that's big in affiliate marketing, like personal growth. They push books and seminars and reading books. I've never read so much books. I got books from Robert Kiyosaki over here. I'm sorry.
Richard, can I say something? Every day for the past like 3 years, actually since college, Bermuda college days, and when I would go to work as well, and I still do every morning, I actually go on YouTube and I listen to motivational videos like the first 30 minutes of my day, like literally that's the first thing I do every day. And every person that I've encountered who is very successful, who has a great, like, good mental life, they actually do that. They wake up first thing in the morning and they read motivational things, they read books, they listen to it. And that's what I do. I actually listen to just random YouTube videos every morning, like, and it really helps me just set my mind, to prepare myself for my day, because as you know, being an entrepreneur, you gotta have your own motivation. You gotta want to be willing to do it yourself. Now, and that really, really helps you to take your mind to that level, And that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Like, it's super important that you really develop that into your schedule, even if it's not morning, in the evening, or when you're on your way to work. Like, be listening to something productive. Like, I don't even watch Netflix. Like, I don't even have a Netflix account. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even have time to watch a TV show. I'm not saying there's nothing bad with that, but it's like I prefer to be listening to, how to trade a cipher pattern. Like, I don't know, like, I rather listen to something educational, and like I said, it really takes you to that next level, like, and it shows, especially when you're talking to other individuals to do the same thing.
Sure.
Absolutely, Richie. You know, when we look at everyone on this panel, and even the audience that is listening, we have grown up traditionally. It's really just a tradition where people have actually shared with us, or basically gotten into our mindset to say, this is how it's being done. And we were always put in a box, even as far as education. You get up, you get a good education, you go to school, you come back, you go work a 9 to 5 for 40 years. But what's happened with the people on this panel is that they looked at where they was at and they did a mind shift. They had to do a mind shift because it's not that traditional box anymore. And if you have persons that's in your audience right now and looking at, well, what's this whole gig economy about? It's people who do not want to be put in a box by someone else. And what actually happens with that box is that you don't get to put your value, your personality, your own personal growth and development is hinged on other people. But everyone on this panel has looked at it to say, I am not going to be boxed in by someone else. James mentioned it earlier about going to work and making $1,000 a week or whatever the amount is. The persons on this panel says, I will not be boxed in to you saying to me that I'm worthy of $1,000. Why am I not worthy of 2,000 or 5,000? So everyone on this panel has come up with a mind shift of their own. And the guests who are listening, it's up to you to do a shift and take control over your life and not have other people control you. So my contribution really, Richie, to close this out, is for us to have self-value on ourselves, because we all have something within. And what can we do? Because this whole gig economy has always been here, but we have been suppressed to the information. As the young lady just said, get up and read something motivational. It's been there, but it hasn't been made to our awareness. But now that we are more aware, and through COVID crisis, it took people to another level of awareness, guys, because the jobs that was here prior to 2020, they are not coming back. And when you have that awareness and you realize that you need to get in that speedboat, put on that life jacket, and let's move forward.
Wow, I went to church.
I'm not sure if anyone's ever told you, Ellan, but you're a great speaker.
You're great. You're great, girl.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Bob, you know what? Thank you.
I
We
went
need
to
to
church.
come
I
back
gotta
and
get
do
it
this
too.
again, right? We need to come back and panelists get together or whatever. I don't know, guys, you know, but when I talk about this, I get fired up because I work for an agency. I can't say right now for 25 years, but I already put 42 years of my life out there. And I know we only have a few minutes. I put 42 years of my life out there. I was sick for a number of years. Everything that I worked for, guys, ran in a flash when I was out sick. Okay, when I had to do medical, when I had to do everything. And, you know, I had my plan, paying my house off by a certain age, you know, schooling my daughter. I went through that plan that was set out for us, that traditional plan. I went through that. But at the end of the day, a flash, just a flash, everything I worked for, 42 years of my life was gone in an instant. So how do you actually start over? Okay, you can't go back to school. You cannot go back to school to get an education in order to pay your mortgage next month. So again, we can come back, Richie. We could do this again, have another topic. I don't know. I'd love to get with the panelists on another forum, but I'm fired up right now, Richie.
Right.
Get me going.
I'm feeling it.
We're
I'm
running out of
feeling it.
time. Let's turn this over to Eureka. I'm sure a lot of the stuff that you mentioned, Eureka can relate to. I can relate to it. You know, the whole, you know, falling down and getting back up, dusting yourself off. But I think we've had a great discussion today, and we probably have to do this again in some other flavor. But you guys brought some great conversation to the table. I hope our audience was inspired and are looking beyond the box, so to speak. So Eureka, I guess some closing comments for you.
Yeah, no, thank you. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for all of the panelists who are on today. You guys are inspiring. I think entrepreneurs are awesome. You know, that's why I'm here at BEDC. I thrive in the entrepreneurial spirit. And I am amazed at what, you know, local entrepreneurs are doing each and every day. And I want to thank the audience also. Now, we did have a number of questions that we didn't get answered, so I want to let the audience know that we will be responding to them and we will send out those answers so that people can have that to digest. There are some questions around affiliate marketing, around benefits. What do you do with benefits in the gig economy? And I think when we first started this, when Richard and I was discussing this, I knew that one webinar was not going to be enough because this is a disruptor, right? This is a disruption to not just the economy, but it's a disruption to the way in which we think about how we provide work, right? How we do work, how we provide products and services. And so we're going to come back a couple of times to really, you know, break this economy apart. And I hope by doing that, we can inspire policymakers and regulators to think about how they can play a role in facilitating this disruption. We don't want people to lose what benefits they have, but we want to be able to shift the conversation around how they can find benefit in other ways. So it's 2 p.m. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everyone for attending, and I wish you well with regard to the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Jamila and Dennis and everyone who's working at the BEDC for putting it all together and helping us get to where we're at.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Carl.
Carl.
All right. That's it for today. We'll be back.
All right. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I hang up.